Hi, let's take a look at Drift. I've recently run a pipeline. I've created a couple of instances. So here's my successful pipeline, and if we take a look in the AWS console, there are my two AWS instances that are currently under Terraform management. But what happens if I start to mess with those outside of Terraform? So let's do something bad. Let's terminate this instance. See you later. Let's make some changes to this instance, like change tags. So I'll go in here and I'll say, let's delete the team, save that. So now my instances are not the way they should be. And if I were to run my pipeline again, Terraform would correct that for me. But let's see what we can do to detect that kind of problem before we even try to correct it. So rather than this apply pipeline, let's make a change to the pipeline and say detect drift. And if we run this guy, then what we're expecting to happen here is that Terraform is going to run. It's going to compare the real world out there in EC2 against how the world should be, the desired state against the actual state. And whenever we find that some changes have happened outside of Terraform, that's going to be highlighted to us here in IaC. And then in this case, the pipeline's going to fail. So Terraform offers behavior called refresh only, which is a way of saying run a plan, but don't make any changes. Just compare the way the world is to the way the world should be. And similarly, there's an operation called apply refresh only that allows Terraform to compare the way the world is to the way the world should be. But rather than changing the world, it updates its own state. So our Drift support has introduced within IaC the ability to run plan refresh only, apply refresh only, and also the detect drift behavior that we're seeing at the minute. So we're almost finished here, and look, last thing in the logs, drift was detected in the following resources. One of our instances has been changed. Turns out those tags are sensitive. And one of the instances has been completely deleted. So the message is here in the logs, but actually if we click over into the resources, there's a much nicer visual representation where we have this drift changes box has appeared. It's highlighting there's something maybe a bit unexpected going on. And I can click on here and see the unplanned changes that have occurred. So let's check this one out. Yeah, there are the changes there. Let's check this one, that's been deleted. So it allows us to say, we don't just sort of ask you to run an apply every 30 minutes. We'll let you run this detect pipeline every 30 minutes, say, and whenever drift shows up, then we'll bring that drift to your attention either right in the pipeline itself, or if we navigate to that workspace, then look, my workspace is drifted. So there's an indicator right here that something's wrong. I need to pay attention, and actually I can see all the details of what's going on. Let's scroll down, and there we are. My tags are not the way they should be. Or similarly, this instance is just entirely gone. So the purpose of this is to detect changes that have happened in the real world outside of the control of Terraform, which is not something that should typically happen. Those are unplanned changes. So Drift lets us detect unplanned changes, tell you all about them, and then if you want to fix them, just run and apply. If in fact the real world is correct and you need to fix the state file inside Terraform, no problem, apply refresh only, we'll fix that for you. As always, thanks for listening.